Always use your own discernment when listening. These general readings are not a one-size-fits-all. Ultimately, you are the final say, so take what applies and leave the rest. With that being said, let's get started. Hi there, pile number 1. Welcome or welcome back. What I see in this pile is a heart chakra activation. And if you haven't gone through it yet, which for I feel some of you have not, you're being given the opportunity to ask for one. For many of you, this is the very start of a Kundalini awakening. And for others of you, it is not necessary because you already have that connection to source energy. And while we all have that connection to source energy, there is something here about being physically connected to the Earth's grid. Now, a heart chakra activation can happen at any time. However, for most people, it usually happens after some sort of destruction in our life. That doesn't mean that you're going to go through destruction, but a lot of people, when life has torn them down, they start to look for answers through faith, and in the process gets connected to the grid. Depending on what your soul came here to learn, you may have the opportunity to change your soul's direction. And some of you, it was already imprinted in your blueprint. By walking into this path, it is going to be hard, but it will be refreshing. It starts out with an inward journey where you take the path where you learn to find and connect to that inner voice. At the start of this process, do not be surprised if you feel very connected to spirit. And do not be surprised if it gets taken away almost immediately. It doesn't mean that you're not loved by the universe. It's just spirit's way of saying, this is what you could have. Now let me show you how to get there. And we have to start at the rock bottom of our emotions. And depending on our past, our upbringing, that can be incredibly painful. And it's so important that we surrender to the mind. And that doesn't mean obey the mind. It's just the mind clinging on to old parts of ourselves that are dying off. And if we aren't aware that this is happening, we can lose ourselves in the process. But let me tell you, pile number 1, even on the other side of this, awaits so much love and fulfillment from the universe, God's source energy. And you'll begin to explore things that you didn't know was possible within you. The inward battle is you fighting multiple versions of yourself, and you will be tackling them one by one until you reach the core root that's causing you suffering. And most of the time, that core root is going to be based on you not being worthy of yourself, of God's love. And Spirit is taking me to the story of Jesus, where the woman groveled at his feet. And Jesus told her, stand up, for are you not worthy of God's love? So you will have to face every part of yourself that says, I don't deserve to be loved. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not loved. Until you correct it in both the mind and release all feelings attached to it. And when you start this process, most likely many of you are going to have a very chaotic mind. It will not be quiet. And as you clear each one of these energies, you will find your mind getting clearer by the day. Allow yourself to go inward and meet your soul and who you are without the conditioning that life has taught you. You're not the failure child that brought home low grades when they were a kid. You're not the person that has to people please in order to get love. You're not a failure if you're unable to meet time constraints. You are not uneducated if you choose to take a path that's not book smart. This is where you learn to nurture yourself, all of you. And as you continue on with this journey, just know that you will be protected until you can protect yourself. And what that means is anyone that's not going to support you in your connection to spirit, in your connection to your purpose, will be removed from your life until they can support you or you can support yourself. For some of you, your life may change. You may shift to a new job that allows you to have better hours for yourself. You may find that family that are close to you may end up taking more responsibilities to support you during this process. If Spirit has given you a person to support you on this journey, you may find that their schedule is changing to better accommodate you. This particular path is divinely guided for a reason, and it's very heavy on the spiritual support. So allow yourself to flow through life and ask yourself, what is life trying to show you at this time? What insecurities are coming up for me to look at? And find a way to make peace with it. You are getting to know your soul during this time, and it may be very different than what you were led to believe up until now. This kind of journey is escalated. It's very fast paced. And if you can get through this, and I'm sure you will be blessed in many ways. We're in a time period where Spirit is training a lot of people to learn how to listen to that inner voice. And with enough people listening to that inner voice, and enough people being connected to oneness and connected to each other, you will find that this earth will be a better place for everyone and not the selected few. So if you haven't chosen already, you have the opportunity. And if you have, I encourage you to keep going, stay optimistic, and learn to love and trust yourself in the process. So the energy that I'm feeling in this pile is going to line up a lot with Elsa's journey in the movie Frozen 2. But you might find yourself resonating with the song Show Yourself. I'll go ahead and link it down in the description box below for you. So that is all I have for you, pile number 1. I hope this resonated with you, and if it did, I will catch you in the next video. Bye. Always use your own discernment when listening. These general readings are not a one-size-fits-all. Ultimately, you are the final say, so take what applies and leave the rest. With that being said, let's get started. Hi there, pile number 2. Welcome or welcome back. So pile number 2, you are in a good space. If not now, you're going to be. You're walking into a timeline with the ability to manifest, to be able to speak your world into existence. But before we talk about what timeline you're walking into, Spirit wants me to talk about the previous timeline that you're coming out of. And there's a particular story that Spirit wants me to share. I was going to the grocery store a couple of weeks ago, and there was this homeless man there that I donated to. I didn't have the cash, and so I went into the grocery store and I got a gift card for the grocery store. I went home and I asked Spirit about his story, and I was told that he lost his job unexpectedly and he wasn't able to recover from that very quickly, and it left him homeless. And in the process, he has to see everything. He has to see the support system, where it works, where it doesn't, the turnaround times, the paperwork. And once he sees everything that he needs to see, Spirit is going to pull him out. But he had to see that timeline without the ability to manifest, because he is meant to help recreate the system that doesn't help our homeless people. He's meant to make it better. He is meant to play a part in recreating a system that is going to be beneficial to those that have struggled through similar hardships. So I feel like that is significant here in your reading. You are coming out of a timeline in which things were not going your way and you had to see all of it. And so now Spirit is giving you the opportunity to really manifest something big out of it. And so the question comes through, do you see the bigger picture? Do you see what you came here to do? You have been given all the information that you needed to see. Now the bigger question from Spirit is, what are you going to create out of it? And whatever you choose to do, you will be supported in the process. This older timeline set a foundation for you. And I know it was hard. I know it wasn't pleasant, but it's setting the foundation for something big for you. And not only that, but what you create out of this is going to put you in an amazing place. So whatever it is that you want to do, make absolutely sure that your voice is heard and set your intentions and allow a path to be carved for you. There are infinite possibilities for you, but it's up to you to choose the best one for you. And trust that between you and Spirit, that you can co-create something to give back to the community that will make this world a better place. So that is all I have for you, pile number 2. I hope this resonated with you. And if it did, I will catch you in the next reading. Bye. Always use your own discernment when listening. These general readings are not a one-size-fits-all. Ultimately, you are the final say, so take what applies and leave the rest. With that being said, let's get started. Hi there, pile number 3. Welcome or welcome back. So I feel a very tough conversation coming up for you, pile number 3. And it can go either way for you. But Spirit is reminding you of the person they are building you up to be. You are being built up to a person that has boundaries. And that doesn't mean that other people don't have their own boundaries. But you yourself know that you deserve to be you. And I feel like for this pile, there may be someone in your life that is not accepting you for who you are. And there is a possibility that their boundaries that they are placing, that they are allowing, may interfere with your authentic self. And that doesn't mean that they're wrong, but it doesn't mean that you're wrong either. And this is taking me back to 2 people in 2 different worlds that just cannot communicate at this time. They can't come to an agreeable compromise because their life experiences has taught them otherwise. And that's a separate path in itself. This is giving me a fish can't live on land, a bird can't live in water, and people can't live in the sky. We can't force ourselves to be something that we're not. And we can't join another world without discomfort if we're not meant for that world. And so I see 2 people that are in completely different worlds right now, and they're just not in alignment with each other. And so if this sounds like you, there's a very big possibility that you're going to be asked by your own intuition, by Spirit, to step away in a respectable manner. That way, when the 2 of you come back, it will be a better transition. This is being true to yourself and making sure that your own voice is heard and learning how to shapeshift through difficult situations, knowing when to stay, knowing when to go. This feels like for many of you, you're walking from a Queen of Cups path to a Queen of Swords path. You already have the empathy, the compassion, the nurturing, and now it's time to have the wisdom behind that to make sure that you don't stray from your own authentic self, to make sure that you're not being manipulated, to make sure that you're treated the right way going forward, and not allowing others to place you in a predetermined box. I feel like this connection has a strong soul tie and it will work out in the end. But sometimes when two people are on two different paths, sometimes separation has to happen for healing to begin. I think the biggest message here is you should be accepted in a certain way, in the way that you best receive it, and to not self-sacrifice for other people's comfort, and that it's okay to go your separate ways if your worlds are not aligned at this time, and making sure you're being truthful, you're being honest, you're being clear about your intentions. This is not to place blame on the other party. This is just allowing you to speak your own truth about how you feel and how you can or can't meet the other person's expectations, and allowing whatever happens to happen. And if separation is ultimately the result, just know that the separation has to happen for healing to occur. And when you are in alignment with this person, you can expect Spirit to bring them back into your life in a healthier manner. And during this separation, if that is the case, try your best to leave the past in the past and move forward on working on yourself. The more you stay busy, the faster time will go. Stay creative and keep working on you, pile number 3. So that is all I have for you. I hope this resonated for you, and if it did, I will catch you in the next video. Bye. Always use your own discernment when listening. These general readings are not a one-size-fits-all. Ultimately, you are the final say, so take what applies and leave the rest. With that being said, let's get started. Hi there, pile number 4. Welcome or welcome back. So, for some of you, this is going to be a creative project. For others of you, this is something that you need to do to fall in alignment. This pile needs to talk about a darker side to themselves, a darker past. Talking about this darker past is going to free you and liberate you. For some of you, you may have to confront something or someone to correct something that may not have gone the way you planned or wished, and it's about correcting that. For others, it's about putting yourself out there to help other people that are going through what you went through. This may be a difficult topic to talk about. Depending on your past, it could make you feel very vulnerable to talk about something like this. But talking about this is creating and protecting a future timeline. And part of you will go through a little bit of healing in the process. So as you tell your story, I know it's difficult, but make sure you're embracing the moment that you tell your story. All the emotions that come up, allow them to come up. Allow yourself to be heard. Allow yourself to move forward in a new direction. So whatever it is that you're carrying with you that needs to be released, can be released. This is about embodying all parts of yourself and knowing that we've all went through something that we don't want to talk about. We may be ashamed of. We may feel vulnerable. We may feel guilty. But taking those parts of ourselves that we've banished and bringing those out so that you're not holding it in anymore. And when you speak your story, to allow the healing to come up, allow yourself to feel, and allow yourself to move yourself into a timeline where you're not holding on to these burdens anymore, because you have fully accepted them and embodied your shadows and your light. And when you do that, you will discover new doors will open up for you, and how telling your story is creating a new timeline, recalling your power, and purging the past in a good way. This is an intuitive call. For some of you, this is not about telling everyone your story. This is about telling it to the right people. And for others of you, you're being asked to come out into the open. So this is where you have to rely on your own intuition and see where you are being guided so that you can release the heavy weight of this energy that's being bottled up inside you. So that is all I have for you, pile number 4. I hope this helped and resonated with you. And if it did, I will catch you in the next video. Bye. Always use your own discernment when listening. These general readings are not a one-size-fits-all. Ultimately, you are the final say, so take what applies and leave the rest. With that being said, let's get started. Hi there, pile number 5. Welcome or welcome back. So, I started your reading last night and I was told to not start it. Now, when I shuffled your cards, I got a lot of oracle cards. And I was wondering why I had so many oracle cards. I'm realizing that this read was not supposed to use the tarot cards. So in this reading, I used just an energy pull, back of the deck energy. I was taken back to my past. And that's where it was made clear to me that this reading is not going to be the same reading as the other 4 piles, but simply a story that Spirit wants me to share. And if you chose this pile, and you chose this pile based off your own intuition, then most likely there is something that you need to hear from this story, something that you need to take from this story. This is not to say what is right and what is wrong, but allowing yourself to find the answers that you need in this particular situation. So as many of you probably know, I came from a religious background, a Christian background. And when I started my awakening process, my connection to Spirit, I was pulled out of religion. In my life, I was placed in the Bible Belt. And on my healing journey, Spirit told me that I needed to make a public service announcement of me stepping out of Christianity. And I didn't want to do that because of how it would affect my social circle of people that I truly cared about. But I had to because I had such an ingrained fear of how people would feel about me and my new path. So when I made my public service announcement, I didn't go into detail, but I did say that I left Christianity and found God in my own way. And I got a lot of support from my fellow Christian friends. So it definitely turned out a little bit differently than I thought. And after I made my post, I was told by Spirit that they were bringing someone to me within the next 3 days. They didn't tell me who. And when I found out who, I was shocked because this person wasn't very close to me and was extremely religious. But there was something about my post that this person resonated with. And I was talking to this person. The conversation flowed quite nicely, but as soon as my egoic mind jumped in, if I was being completely honest about my intentions with where the conversation was flowing, it was to help this person realize that Christianity was manipulating, and that wasn't the place to be. And when my ego jumped in and tried to convince me of that, it was made very clear to me by Spirit to not take this person out of religion. And I'm not going to lie, my ego was bruised from that download that I received. And so I had to change my words when I was talking to this person. And it wasn't hard because I did come from a religious background and I had a lot of spiritual assistance in this conversation on how to do that. But I was able to express the message, the same message, but I did it from a place of biblical teachings. So after that conversation, I sat down with Spirit, and a part of me was annoyed because my whole path was about finding out the truth. What's true, what's not true. And this was just part of my path of realizing that even though I am connected to spirit and I get downloads, doesn't mean that I have the whole truth. And so when I sat down in this meditation and I asked for clarity, this is what I was told. We pulled you out of religion because you were meant to reach people and help people no matter their background. And that is your path. And that is what's true for you. But this person came here with a path to change religion from within. And they can't do that if you take them out of religion. So you have to learn to adapt to people of all backgrounds and know that your truth is for you and their truth is for them. It doesn't make either truth wrong. You were only meant to help them expand within their religion. This is why it's important to trust the unseen, to trust your intuitive guidance, even when it doesn't make sense. And this person was a mirror for me because this person was reflecting back my own insecurities around religion and played a huge part in my healing process around the manipulation that religion has shown me. It also allowed me to break through to the bigger picture and has taught me a lot about going with the flow and how to be nurturing to those with different backgrounds and different life purposes than me. It doesn't make my path wrong. It doesn't make their path wrong. We all have our own truth, and they are tailored to what we came here to do. So if you chose this pile, I'm going to assume that there was something in this story for you, most likely on how to talk to someone while putting the ego aside and truly understanding that we just don't have all the answers, no matter how connected to spirit you are. But you will always have the answers that you need in any given moment if you're willing to put the mind aside and realize that your truth is not someone else's truth and vice versa. So I hope this helped and I hope this resonated for you. And if it did, I will catch you in the next reading.